What's up everybody? Sean here at Diamondback, and we are here for a pretty cool video with you guys. So today we're going to be talking about AKs, specifically the two in front of me, but we're going to focus really only on one on the right. So in lieu of our standard shop show and tell or man and machine segments or shooting segment, we're kind of going to mash them all together. So let's begin at the beginning. What do I have in front of me today? Well, I have two Wasser 10 rifles. These are standard AKM pattern guns pretty much. They are semi-automatic. They are made in Romania at the Cougar Arms plant in Transylvania. So why do I have Wasser 10s in front of me? Well, lots of people have done reviews on Wasser 10s, and so we're not so much reviewing the guns themselves, but we're talking about what can you do with the gun and some budgetary constraints and jobs we might want to do with those guns. So on my left here, I have a brand new off-the-rack Wasser 10. This firearm now is going for a shade over $1,000. This is available here at Diamondback, and that's pretty much the going rate for these guns. That is Century Arms MSRP zone, and everything has gotten more expensive. We rewind back the clock to 2008, and you could have a brand new Wasser 10 then, much like I did when I was at the ripe old age of 19, for $375. And back in 08, $375 would get you not just the gun, but 3 mags, a bayonet, an oiler, a sling pouch, a sling, yada yada. And they came out of a really cool military style crate, which is actually the type of crate that I pulled mine out of. So talking about this AK, well, if you look around on the market, AKs of any kind of decent repute are really starting at $1,000 now. You can go all the way up to AKs starting at about $2,000, and I'm talking about the Arsenals, the Meridians, that type of thing, which are fabulous guns, but in my opinion, really anything over $1,000 is a lot for an AK pattern rifle. That being said, this, in my opinion, is kind of an industry gold standard. We have a firearm that is made in a military plant, that is made in a former Warsaw Pact country. It is not a parts kit gun. Not disparaging parts kit guns. There are some folks out there that assemble them and they're absolutely fantastic. However, I have seen plenty of horror stories of people buying parts kit guns that were assembled by people who had no business assembling anything, let alone a firearm that's housing a very small explosion in it. So you want to be careful with what you're getting. But here's what we know. The Wasser 10 pattern guns have been coming into this country since about 1997. In the early 2000s, when the ban was lifted, some of those Wassers that were coming in did have some teething issues. We had some crooked front sight posts, we had some crooked gas blocks, things of that nature. But in fairly short order, they have worked themselves out of those issues and really delivered now today with this 2025 manufactured firearm, an excellent, rugged, robust, military type sporting weapon. So we're going to move away from the brand new Wasser 10 into my other Wasser 10, which is actually my Wasser 10. So this series that we are putting together, we are going to be calling the Pawn Shop AK. So this is a Wasser 10. I got this at a pawn shop for $700, which in terms of a Wasser 10 out there on the market, compared to a new one, that's tremendous savings. This gun is excellent. It has straight front sights, straight gas block, locks up tight, no shakes, rattles, and rolls. Excellent bore inside this thing, and it looks like fairly nominal rounds actually down through the barrel itself. And if there were, it was properly maintained. So we want to accomplish two things with the Pawn Shop AK. Can we turn a bog standard Wasser 10 into a gun you could go out and compete with competently? And can we also use this thing for double duty as a home defense firearm? That being said, we know we have to be rugged and reliable, but we know that there are certain drawbacks with standard Wasser AKs In my opinion, that's the factory trigger. Some of these came with G2s, Tapco G2s is stock. Some did not. This one does not appear to be a Tapco trigger. The selectors on them are the standard AKM style selectors, but it is quite stiff. So those are just two of the major issues that are going to jump out at me in terms of quickly operating the gun and having a lot of fun with it out there on the range if you're competing. So what are we going to do with this gun? What is this segment going to look like? So we're going to break this into 4 parts for you guys. We have this, part 1, where we're not just talking about the gun, but we're going to talk about what I want to do to this gun. Then we're going to have part 2. We're going to go out, we're going to shoot this gun with one of our competition shooter employees here, and we're going to run numbers. We're going to run 10 bill drills, approximately 60 rounds of ammunition through this thing. We're going to record those shot times. We're going to record those split times. And we are going to see later on in part 4 if the modifications we do to this gun improve it and do make it faster, more comfortable, and turn it more into that competition style gun. We do know that we have the rugged and robust basic AK here that could absolutely be used to defend hearth and home. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's touch on part 3. Part 3 will be us installing these components and talking with our gunsmithing staff about what they're doing to this gun. So we've got introducing the gun, shooting the gun stock, modifying the gun, and then we will shoot the gun again after we have done all of those things that we're going to get into right now after the fact. So, beginning from the front to the back, we are going to be replacing the stock muzzle nut on this thing with a new compensator. We want to reduce that recoil, reduce that muzzle rise. Moving back from there, we are going to be installing a lightweight lighting solution. If we plan on using this firearm for home defense, we do want to be able to see something if it goes bump in the night. And in a competition world, using a lightweight system here is going to speed us up a little bit, maintain a lighter weight on the overall basis of the firearm's chassis. So, muzzle device, lighting solution, and mount. Coming back a little bit further, we are going to be doing 3 things to the internals of this gun. We are going to be installing the ALG UL trigger. We are going to be installing the Krebs Mark 7 selector on it, which is my personal favorite selector for AK, and the ALG being my favorite trigger for AKs. You get a lot of value there. And we're going to install an internal recoil buffer, an inexpensive part, but something that will also soften up that felt recoil. Then coming along, we're going to upgrade the sights. Are we going to mess with the factory stuff? Absolutely not. But we are going to get a sight mount that will clamp back here, probably something with a rear bias because my eyes aren't great, and the closer that optic is to my face, the better I can see. And we are going to be running positively the Holosun 510 in the black housing with a green dot. Back on from that, we may throw on a recoil pad, not only to soften the felt recoil a little bit more, but to also extend that length of pull. The stock Soviet size furniture on this is built for guys that are somewhere between 5'6" and 5'8". If you're over that, you might find that it is a little too cramped for you. For me personally, I like to bundle up tight on the firearm. Just it helps me acquire sights a little bit better. I like to be compact on it, but that's not for everybody. Some people out there might want a little longer. So having that we could replace, take on, take off is a nice little feature. Outside of that though, our main kind of target with this thing is the financial aspect. So if you go out there and you buy a brand new Arsenal in 7.62x39, you're starting at $2,000. Can we take this pawn shop AK and can we add all of the neat parts we want to improve performance, to improve sight picture, to improve felt comfort, and do that somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500? I think we can do it. I hope we can do it because this is my gun and I am privately purchasing these parts myself. So I think that's really a good condensed way to get us through part 1 here, guys. That being said, Pawn Shop AK, If you go to pawn shops in your area, secondhand firearm shops, those mom and pop places, you can absolutely find an excellent Wasser 10 with the straight side, straight gas block, locking up tight, great bore for sub $1,000. If you are kind of relegated into purchasing a new firearm, I do strongly recommend the brand new Wasser 10. Excellent fit and finish on these, excellent quality, great wood furniture, hardwood furniture as opposed to laminate on this one, but an excellent value for a gun built in a Soviet factory. All right, guys, well, we know what we're gonna do, so we will see you all for part